Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I've been set a bit of a task. So I'm looking for a very specific opal. So solid, 1 carat-ish, lower price range like 50 to 100 would be ideal to be closer to the 50. And also they want a triangle. So this piece here I thought was a pretty good candidate. It's already shaped to a point at one end. Over here where it tapers off, I'm thinking of clipping this part off. And you're pretty much 80% of the way there. They also wanted green. This one's a little bit green-blue, but a lot of people call blue-green and green-blue, so I'm not 100% sure which one they are. Now the 1 carat thing is a little bit tricky. If I bring some scales over, if I was to take a stab at this, I would say this stone is somewhere between 1.5. So let's chuck it on and have a look. There you go. Turns out if you handle opal all the time, you'll start to be able to predict how much it weighs. So this is a piece from Coober Pedy, and it may not look like it, but it's a crystal opal, which still fits the description because it's still going to be a solid opal. They didn't want it to be transparent, but this one is kind of borderline because I will be able to keep some potch on the back, which will make it not fully transparent front to back. Hopefully that's okay, but this is really the best candidate I could find. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically trim it up to this edge here. That should bring it into about 1 carat. There's not much to lose just there. And then we're going to try to get it nice and clean, using this as the face, keeping this as the back, and just flattening it out. The one thing I am concerned about is if I can pop up a shot, because it's a crystal opal, I can really have a good look inside, and I can see a few little speckles that might end up being inclusions in the face, but they did want a fairly low value stone anyway, so 1 or 2 inclusions isn't going to matter. I'm hoping that I can get them all out though. And because it's going to be 1 carat or maybe a bit under, it should be fine and fit within the price range. Technically, I can say whatever I want when it comes to the price anyway. If I want to rip myself off, then I just rip myself off. But in this case, I don't think it's going to be an absolute perfect stone. We'll see. We can always get lucky, and I've been getting pretty lucky with Coober Pedy material lately. So let's spin up and see what we can do, trim it up. Should see what the face is going to look like in just a minute. Zoom zoom. So this is the really fast part. We'll skip through this. This is the 80 grit sintered diamond, just removing that tail end that I said I would. This will blitz through it in absolutely no time and leave us with just what we want, the little triangle piece, and we're going to hit that with the 600 grit sintered diamond because that is more for shaping. The 80 grit you can shape, but you shape way too quickly and it removes way too much material. So you just want to calm down. You don't have to go to the 600, you can go somewhere in between, but I like to go with the 600 because this is only just a tiny skin of sand across the face. So we just want to be very careful. Remove that and they'll start seeing the opal shine through. You can see it there, looking pretty good, but pretty scary too. The sand is still there, but we won't fully get rid of it because this is a very small stone. We don't want to lose too much. We'll just take off the edges quickly with the 600 before moving over to the 280. And here is where I'm really just layer by layer peeling off that front face. The 280 grit Nova I'm just using for all of the final shaping and the removal of as many inclusions as humanly possible. I can't get rid of all of them unfortunately in this piece, as you'll probably see at the end. But we do get rid of most of it and it's very hard to notice the ones that I've left in the face. But I wanted to be really careful. We're trying to get as close to 1 carat as possible. At this point, I already knew that I was going to start falling a little bit short of that, but I was still wanting at least a 0.8 and we managed that pretty well. And you can see here we're just going over all the edges across the face. You do want to be a little bit careful. You'll notice I'm not just holding the burr up against there all the time. I am taking it off, having a look and constantly dunking the stone. And you'll also notice that I had to dop it. It was small. So what I've done here is got a chopstick, just a standard bamboo chopstick, and use my pocket knife to whittle it down until it's smaller than the diameter of the stone. You don't want any hanging over the edge, you'll end up having to carve away glue and it's a bit of a mess. Don't do that, just make it small enough to fit the stone and you are perfectly good, just custom dop sticks. Following that, we just go the 600, 1200, 3000 grit Novas and we finish it off with some cerium oxide. That's my favourite part of course. And you can see here, it's a very similar method for all of them. Be a little bit careful with the 600 grit, it will still remove material, but you're not aiming to shape anymore. All you're doing is trying to remove the last of the scratches from the 280. The 280 will leave quite significant scratches behind still. After the 600, you can be a lot more relaxed. because the 1200, 3000, you're not going to change the shape of the stone very quickly, not carving. With the wheels you might, but definitely with the carving burrs you're not going to, so you can push pretty hard and pretty fast. And just, yeah, keep it wet, it'll work an absolute treat. Just push a little harder than you expect, I think. If you go too soft, you do leave behind a lot of scratches, and then just finish it off with the cerium oxide, and this is what you'll end up with. Mission accomplished. So it's actually less of a triangle now. I rounded out the bottom. It's a little bit wet at the moment because I dopped this with super glue and the super glue is holding on super tight. I wanted to soak it and pop this stone off, but I've kind of run out of time and I need to get this recording done. So we're just gonna have to record it still on the stick. It's come up really nice. It's got an interesting little pattern. It is mostly green, not a lot of blue in it. Right up towards the top, it gets a little bit blue, a little bit purple, but mostly green. Pretty happy. I still kept it semi-triangular, but you can see here, it's kind of like a teardrop with a flat bottom, mostly. I still need to keep the edges rounded, which was understood by the person because it needs to be set and it's really hard to set something that goes to a sharp point. So all of those have been rounded off and that almost makes it a teardrop, but I have kept a little bit of a flat bottom there. So hopefully that's all right. If not, it could be brought up a little bit more and make these a little bit of a sharper turn, but I really like the shape. The only negative is that there are a couple inclusions. They are very tiny. They're not coming up even with the macro lens. Or maybe I can see a couple specks here and there, but that was expected because the color bar was a little bit cloudy from the side shot, and with crystal opal, the side shots reveal pretty much everything. But as you can see, if I wave my finger behind, you're not going to see any real changes because I have still kept a thin layer of potch on the back there. So yeah, it's not too bad. A little bit cloudy, a little bit foggy. You can see that little white fog, but that's not the end of the world. I did aim for a stone that would be more around the $50 mark anyway, so even if it's not a top gem, it's pretty good. I can't get it off stick, so I can't get the final weight, but I'm estimating it's just under a carat. I had to take off a little bit more than I thought just to get the color bar nice and clear. There was a fair few grainy boys stuck in the face for a little while there, but got them out. And there's only a couple slight ones left. Apart from that, nice stone, took a pretty good polish really quickly. Pretty small, nothing too exciting about it. I'm just glad it's panned out as well as it did. It has got to be pretty close to what I was aiming for. I had to dig around in a lot of parcels to find the right stone. Came up with this one. I'm not entirely sure which parcel it came out of actually. I could actually look at this stone all day, but we don't have all day. I've got more stuff to work on, so I will call it quits and start on the next one. See you guys in the next video. Though, as per usual, I am not sure what that's going to be. Catch you guys.